It's that time. And this is the only reason I'm going to ask you this because I actually was wondering this too.
Ooh.
Magic Carrots wants to know about the MJF promo last night. And let me tell everybody, I don't really know what the words are that Magic Carrots just said, but I do know this. Thanks to Halterman, because we share, like, we neither one of us care about Twitter to have our own personal accounts, but we obviously have the Racing Dudes account. Well, we follow every damn AEW associated person in the world. And so I get on Twitter and I'm scrolling through and I'm like, especially when there's a big event around that time, like AEW, like where's, horse racing, like what I want to actually look at. So I saw this and I thought, I don't know what this is, but I noticed people were talking about it and it was like a huge deal. So enlighten us.
Okay. So let's start from the beginning. All right. So, okay. MJF, for Jared's sake, I'll explain. And for 34 out of the 35 people still watching, I'll explain, not Magic Carrots. But MJF is the biggest heel or bad guy in wrestling, right? I mean, he's a superstar. So he skips a fan fest on Saturday. He just doesn't show up. They can't get a hold of him. All this stuff is happening. It's like MJF's not here. We don't know where he's at. And then a story comes out that he has booked a plane to fly home. With the pay-per-view being on Sunday, he's flying home on a red-eye Saturday. So it's all speculation all day Sunday. Will he show up? Will he not show up? Well, I'm sitting here going, I know he's still in Vegas. I just saw the bastard like 3 hours ago down in the casino. I know he's here. Like, he may get on that plane, but he went right from what he was doing to get on the plane. Anyway, everybody's like, yeah, I don't know if he's coming. Who knows? He shows up to the pay-per-view. He gets squashed, and he's out. And so what Magic Carrots is talking about, last night, he comes out and he does a promo. He basically buries AEW. He buries all the other wrestlers in AEW. He buries the owner. He calls the owner every name in the book. It's basically a dispute that he's not getting paid enough, which is true. And so I think what's happened is a behind-the-scenes issue, which has probably been worked out by now, has become a storyline in the wrestling. But the promo last night was probably the top wrestling promo we've had since, I don't know, 10 years, 15 years. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's going crazy about it. The whole last 4 or 5 days has just been nothing but MJF gossip. My theory is AEW's got something worked out with him. They knew to feed the wrestling press a story to kind of get them talking and acting like it was, a shoot. It was a real life thing that was happening when really it wasn't. And they knew most of the wrestling media are really horrible, and they knew they could trick them into falling for this. That's my theory on it. But listen, this stuff has been amazing with him. Sunday, they played his music to start the show. And he waited for what seemed like minutes to come out. And the whole building was like, oh my God, he's not going to show up. This is crazy. He's going to quit. And then he showed up and dude, that place went insane. Oh my God, he showed up and then he just got killed by the guy everybody loves. And so anyway, it's been fun. I don't know what's true and what's not, but it's good television. I'll tell you that.
What's MJF stand for?
Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
So they just call him MJF?
Yeah, I call him MJF.
And what's the promo? What do you mean a promo?
Oh, he just got on the mic. A promo just means he got on the microphone last night and was just basically, fuck you to the owner. I hate all the fans. I didn't show up to Fan Fest because you guys are all idiots. I'll sit in.
I like this guy.
You would honestly, and Magic and I were talking about this, obviously, off air, and we were like, MJF is the guy that could get Jared and Somich into wrestling. He is incredible at what he does. It's unbelievable. And last night was just, it was awesome television. Whether you like wrestling or not, it was intense, man. And we were just kind of looking at each other he is dropping every, cuss word there is on live television right now. Right. And I'm not dumb. I know that this was all planned, but at the same time, it's this is wild. They're skirting the lines between reality and fiction here. And it's awesome. And he may very well end up leaving. I think a lot of this is true to some extent. And they're just kind of playing it into a storyline to help it get more steam.
Well, I'll say this from wrestling part, whatever, but it is a very interesting and well done. If it's done like you're saying it is, it's from a marketing kind of promotion standpoint, it's done fantastically well because like I'm just envisioning the reaction of the crowd at this thing thinking, even though you being there and knowing like I saw him, I know he's here, like I know this probably a bit, and then the music starts playing, you're like, well, son of a bitch, maybe he's not showing up, and so that in itself is just it kind of keeps it going. So they're doing a good job. You're probably right; they have it all worked out, but it's like, look, I'm talking about it. People are talking about it, so it's interesting.
It's very interesting. Exactly. You don't really have to like wrestling to find it interesting because here's a guy who is a star, probably one of the top 5 guys in the country. Doesn't matter what, WWE, AEW. This guy's a superstar, one of the best at what he does specifically. And he's not showing up to an event that people have already paid for, right? And he's not showing up to a meet and greet where they had to refund people money or exchange them for another superstar, So it was a fucking nightmare for these people. And I was sitting by total strangers at this event. By the way, largest crowd ever for an AEW show. The show was where the Vegas Knights play, and it was crazy. And the guy sitting next to me, I sat next to him. I don't know who this guy is. He looked at me and goes, "What do you think? Is he going to be here or not?" That's how the buzz was in the crowd. There were 2 girls sitting in front of us, and they were talking about themselves. They're like, "Do you think MJF's going to be here?" And like, who are they going to put Wardlow up against? I don't think he's coming, And they played it so perfect because when they played the music and he's not coming out, I mean, we've seen this in wrestling back when we were in school. It's like, oh shit, that means they're not here.
Yeah.
And now what are they going to do? And like I said, when he walked down that tunnel, it was just like, I was like, oh my God, he is here, But then it was like, what's he going to do? Is he going to participate? Is he going to go over the plan? Or is he just going to do whatever he wants? So
yeah,
it was awesome.
The wife has chimed in. Wow. But people don't realize that Heather is probably a bigger fan than Aaron, his wife.
Yeah.
She says, I don't know how you can call to work when he doesn't show up for fans that paid their hard-earned money. She is pissed.
That's what she said the whole time, too. She was mad. And I was watching this guy a live stream on YouTube at like 11 at night. And she's like, he doesn't know anything. Shut this off. We'll find out tomorrow if he's there. But it doesn't matter if it's a worker, a shooter, whatever. He screwed people out of this money on Saturday. I was like, yeah, you're right. It's terrible. I agree.
I mean, if you would think that like the organization or whatever, just I obviously don't know shit about it, but it's like you would think they wouldn't have been like, okay, here's the plan. We're going to have him skip because that's got to be a pain in the ass, right?
Yeah.
So he probably did that on his own, I would guess. Mm-hmm. And then now they've, like you said, figured out everything, hopefully, right? And making a bid about it, but I would be shocked if like that was the plan all along.
I think the Fan Fest thing was on him, and because Tony Khan is the owner, he was supposed to have an interview with some guys. The Wrestling Observer, which actually is a reputable place that never. By the way, the real places never were recording. There was a plane ticket and all this stuff. It was all like dirt sheets. But I think they were supposed to have an interview with Tony Khan, and he canceled it. And they were like, well, he probably has shit he's dealing with right now. I'd say he skipped it. They worked it out. And now it's, at least for the time being, it's okay. But yeah, I would say that skipping the Fan Fest was definitely, there's something to that. You don't just, because Tony Khan doesn't want to refund all that money to people either.
No.
So.
I mean, it's one thing to like, whatever, like you skip even if it's a pay-per-view, but to skip a thing, something people specifically paid for.
Yeah.
See, I love it. You and Heather have to do a show or something together. I would have liked to have seen, was she wearing a shirt every time too?
Yes.
I hope she was wearing a shirt, but was she wearing like a wrestling shirt?
Yes. She homemade some wrestling shirts.
My God.
2 out of the 3. She homemade a hook.
Did you make signs too? We guys
no, she didn't have the signs. She didn't have the signs. No.
That's hilarious.
No, she homemade 2 shirts, and she had Hook, and she had Penta, and she had Darby Allin. I was her third. And I had FTR, and of course Danhausen for the pay-per-view. So it was cool because I had Danhausen and she had Hook, and they were in a tag team called Hookhausen, so we were Hookhausen.
Guys, find your own Hookhausen. That's what I would say. That's the moral. Like we all like being a single guy. I need to find my Hookhausen. You know what I mean? Like that's maybe in a different way, but the general idea of it. Yeah, the general idea of it. Find my own Hookhausen. Okay, maybe we should do our own show on a wrestling, or you should, because
Heather wants to do a show. So. And I'm supporting it. So, yeah, it's going to happen, I would think.
I know Magic Carrots would be on board with that. So, and I'm sure many others as well.
I think we could get Vinny and Magic Carrots and Dennis right away.
Magic would do it, or he'd be interested. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, see, look at this.
I think, and honestly, and from me, from just the business, like marketing, that whole aspect, I'm like, oh yeah. The husband-wife pod talking about not about horse racing, but about wrestling.
Right.
Like that's a niche on niche. And I'm like, oh yeah, do that. So I think that's, if you're going to do it, it's got to be with Heather. That's my opinion.
I agree. Yeah. Nobody wants to listen to Magic and I, because Heather's opinions are very good. That's the other thing. She's like, I don't know about it. I was like, no, the great thing is like, it's just opinionated. Like anybody can like anybody or dislike anybody. You can't, like, it's all opinion. It's just like analyzing a television show, only it's wrestling.
Yeah, I'm not tuning in for you and Magic, but I would tune in for you and Heather.
See? It's happening. It's happening.
Right.
She has a few show ideas already, actually. So, yes.
All right.
We've been thinking about a pod name. Yes. Mm-hmm.
What'd you call it? Hookhausen? No, don't.
Hookhausen.
No. No. That will age out. You know, you can't.
Yeah, definitely going to age out. Hookhausen's going to break up pretty soon. I think Hook is going to squash Danhausen soon. I have a feeling. So,
yeah, everybody listening, if you're listening to this and you're like, this is crazy,
yeah,
whatever, but be thinking of like it's a husband wife, it's a racing dudes, podcast channel, but it's a husband wife, love wrestling. There's got to be something there. I'll be thinking.
We'd probably do it on a Wednesday night. No, I think we said Sunday, maybe. I don't know.
Well, what if you did it live during? Well, you guys probably have to pay attention, or like after a show on Wednesday night or something.
There's a lot of competition during that time. As the only thing, believe it or not, there are other people that do this.
But not husband wife.
That's true. That is true.
You're the
and
first.
Not on the Racing Dudes channel, which is gigantic.
Well, that's huge. So
exactly. Yeah.
All right.
We're gonna do it.
Thank you for everybody that listened to this for an hour and 41 minutes. It's great. It's great to have Halterman back, and it's great that everyone tuned in. I'm Jared Welch. Remember, we'll be back next week with all the Belmont coverage you want and more, because we'll know more about the fields. Belmont Stakes next weekend, but this weekend, obviously, tons of racing going on as well. I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Halterman. Good luck this weekend.